So I grew up on the South Side. We used to actually call our community the Low End. It is affectionately known as Bronzeville now. I was raised in a single parent home. Lake Meadows was a large part of carving out who we are as people, from building friendships and playing in the park, having a good time. It really helped shape and carve really the foundation of who I've become as a woman. I started my journey in real estate back, I want to say it was 2003-ish, in terms of just finding out, what's going on in real estate. I have some friends that have been investors. They were flipping houses. They were making a lot of money. They said, hey, G, you need to get in on this. And I was like, well, that sounds nice, the money you're making. I said, but I don't really know kind of the background. So I ended up doing a little research. The fact that I think I had reached capacity at my corporate company really changed the trajectory of my life. And I decided to get a real estate license. I said if I liked it, I'd get my broker's license. And in 2005, I ended up getting a severance package out of corporate America, and I left out running, because this was a win for me. I could go and pursue what could be a passion of mine, a new career, and I was excited about it, and I jumped full into the deep end of the pool because I started working with investors. But zoom forward, a lot of what I learned about real estate was that there was a lack of education and economic empowerment going on in the Black community. And so I decided that I would get from that career, I said I would love to educate and empower other people. And the advocacy piece, I've always been a service person. It's kind of ingrained in my DNA of helping people. But when I got into the real estate game, it just really changed everything. And I started advocating and doing the research and trying to figure out ways to reach people. I had worked for several different agencies coming along, but I ended up getting an opportunity to work at Fannie Mae, which was really big during around 2008, because we had the crash here everywhere. But specifically, it was hard hit on the south and west sides, which are the Black communities in Chicago. When I arrived there, I was the only Black asset manager. They called them sales managers. And I've always been, I think in terms of some of my life choices, I've been the first in the room. I went to go work for Fannie Mae for almost 3 years, and I actually went in on my off day, and I quit. My boss asked me 6 times, are you sure? No one ever quits Fannie Mae. I said, well, I've been the first at other things. I'll be the first at this. I've got to really go and find my thing. I said, my passion. I've got to go outside and educate people so they're not losing their homes. And I left, and I really haven't looked back. Zoom forward, when you work at Fannie, you put your license on hold. And when I went to go pull my license, they were like, oh, it expired. I'm like, huh? What do you mean? So I ended up taking a real estate class, and guess who was my instructor? All right, the legendary and the godfather of real estate, Mr. Frank Williams, okay? If anyone works in real estate, they have encountered this gentleman, gentle giant, advocate. He's been in the industry over 50-something years, but long story short, he told me about this wonderful organization called the Dearborn REALTIST Board. And the story was so compelling and moving to me. I'm like, well, how come I haven't heard of this organization? I'm like, what is the name? How do I join? I was just going to join on general principle because of the stories that he shared with me. I stand on the shoulders of these Black real estate brokers. They paved the way for myself and all the the leaders to come. So after getting relicensed, getting all of my ducks in a row, I did join the organization. And I started serving. And I think once you get involved from a committee standpoint, get involved with volunteering and really sharing ideas and becoming a realtist, when you walk as a realtist, there is a transitional, a pivotal moment where there's no turning back. For the last several years, I have, become vice presidents where I supported, our past president, Mr. Courtney Q. Jones, and then on my rise to presidency, one of the past presidents, Ronald Branch, asked me, in 5 years, what did you want to do? Do you want to be the president of this organization? And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I'm just here to serve. I'm here to help. But again, when you step into the REALTIST organization, it transforms who you are. It transforms your mission. I got installed back in 21 with a 2-year term, was part of the pandemic. And the pandemic really had to force everybody to kind of relook at themselves. We looked how we did business. But it was an opportunity for us to really take some time to figure out how we can really reach our members. So as part of my pillars, part of my platform as president, I had 3 primary focuses, and that was on the members, being able to give the members something of value so that they don't think about it when it's time to re-up their membership. It was also about advocating in the community. How we reach one, teach one. What are we sharing with the people in the world, and especially in our Black communities? And then the other piece, which is really kind of the foundation of how I operate as a person, is education. I think with education, we impact, which was my theme for my presidency, and we empower. With those two things, we can change families, we can change people, and we can change communities. September 23rd, the current president of the CAR, Chicago Association of Realtors, Sarah Ware, selected me to provide the inspirational piece. Whether it's a demonstration, negotiation, or a conversation, words have power. I think anyone and everyone could, no matter what industry you worked in, could really identify that words have power, and you can use them for good, you can use them for negative, but we've got to be always, we got to make sure that we are careful with what we say and who we say things to. Somebody who is following in my footsteps, I would tell them to carve their own path. I remember someone saying, you've got some big shoes to fill. Well, I'm not going to fill those shoes. I've got to set my own course. I've got to lead my own path. I've got to put on my stilettos, not on someone else's shoes. But I think for the people coming behind me, you can't erase history and you can't erase the past. So you've got to be able to learn from what you've been exposed to. You've got to be able to separate yourself from the mission of the organization, and you've got to be able to be open to your boards, to your membership, to ideas, because there's a lot of great people out here that want to serve. So just be open and be powerful. Stand in your own. I stood in my own, and I'm happy. I'm happy I did. At the end of all of this on March 31st, because I passed the gavel on March 30th, I am going to rest and really get back to business. You sacrifice so much of yourself. You sacrifice your economic engine because you're pouring into the organization, the members, the board, everything. It's a lot. And so I need to get back to business to start earning some money. And then I'm going to figure out kind of how I'm going to play off some of the things that I launched during my term. Part of the long-lasting legacy is part of my poem. Words have power, but actions speak louder. And I think that when people think back on my term, my service on the board, my actions spoke volume.